Hello, and welcome to Wrestle Junkie or Wrestle Train, whichever one I decide to call it when I get there. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to call it Wrestle Train because there's already a Wrestle Junkie that's out there. I am your host, Micah. You can follow me at Twitter at Micah Kool-Aid, and I am here to talk about one of the biggest pay-per-views that people are talking about that is upcoming in January. No, not one that's happening inside of WWE that involves people throwing people over the top rope to get qualified to go to a match in April, even though there's a top rope match happening on this show. I'm here to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. Because people need to know about it. New Japan is a great platform. It's reaching new heights that people have never ever seen before, and it's getting widespread attention now. And I've always kept my eye on New Japan. I've always known of what's going on over there, but I've never actually dedicated my specific time to it. Mostly because I just didn't know how. I didn't think that other than sites that like Daily Motion, that I couldn't really follow it bit by bit until most recently, where I became a serious devoted fan to the product around the G1 Climax of last year. It produces some of the best wrestling matches ever seen before. And if you are not watching it, you're doing yourself a disservice because it is that great. And I'm here to talk about the biggest show that they have, their version of WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom. This one is the number 12. So it's called Wrestle Kingdom 12. At the beginning of the year, always, every year on January 4th, New Japan will have their own final pay-per-view. It wraps up all their storylines from a year, sometimes even longer than that. And what I'm going to do for you all today is going to go over the matches that are scheduled for the show, give you some further insight on the company and the products, and give you further insight on the characters and storylines that are going on currently right there. And hopefully this will inspire someone. The only thing I don't want, I obviously like thumbs ups and likes. I like views. I like not attention. I don't like attention. I want people to watch my videos, but I want people to be inspired to go watch what I'm recommending. And if I can get just one person to subscribe to New Japan and that I can eventually talk to them about and geek over this stuff with, I am all on board for it. So, first off, before I can go further with the show, I need to explain a little bit about New Japan. It is the top tier Japanese company, the number one company in Japan that does wrestling in the world. It's definitely number 2 top wrestling company in the world. We're like right behind, WWE. New Japan has produced one of the greatest wrestlers that people may know now as Shinsuke Nakamura. He was Shinsuke Nakamura in Japan. They've also had legions of northern wrestlers, from Hulk Hogan to Stone Cold Steve Austin to Rob Van Dam to heck, I'm pretty sure DDP, Chris Jericho, who I'll get to even AJ Styles, the current WWE champion, have all worked at New Japan at some point in their tenure in the wrestling company. New Japan right now has, I believe, 8 titles available. Those being the IWGP Heavyweight title, their main prestigious title, their IWGP Intercontinental title, the secondary title. It's definitely just as important as the heavyweight title. It closes some shows every now and then. It's very important. They have the most very recent, the United States Championship, IWGP United States Championship. They have the Never Openweight Championship and the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Besides those 5, they have 3 tag team titles, which are the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, the IWGP Tag Team Championships, and the Never Openweight Never Openweight Championship, which is held by 3 individuals. It's a three-person title. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the card right here. I have it right here on the computer, which is why you might be seeing me having some issues with my hands. And I'm going to go over the card, what the matches are, give you a little background on the competitors involved and who they are and what their motives are, as well as the storylines that are tying into them. Also, before I go further, there are, I believe, 5. Also, this is also completely off the top of my head, and just from a guy who's went into depth in reading and catching up on most of the products from about 2015 to now. So maybe even 2014. So there are, in order of importance to me, in my eyes, there's Tommy. That is the older cat. He is nosy, and he's probably going to make a lot of noise doing something really soon. Hopefully he doesn't. There you go. Good boy. Anywho, so there are probably the most important faction. Oh, yeah. New Japan functions by factions. A lot of the most important things that go on are faction based. There are wrestlers that are not a part of factions, but most of the most important wrestlers in the company of New Japan are part of factions. In order of importance right now in 2018, there are the number one most important faction in their company would probably be Los Ingobernables de Japón. It has its leader Tetsuya Naito. There is Bullet Club, which I'm sure many people are familiar with. That has its leader Kenny Omega. There is, after them, I would say roughly Suzuki-gun, with its leader Minoru Suzuki. Terrifying man. Then there is Taguchi Japan, which is a kind of joke faction, but it still is an important faction. It is very much looked upon in high regards, has pretty high members, and makes an impact. And that is with its leader Ryusuke Taguchi. And then there is the final faction, which is Chaos, Chaos, which has its leader Kazuchika Okada. I put leader in quotation marks because originally the faction of Chaos was created by Shinsuke Nakamura. I believe in, I want to say like 2011. Let me just be 100% sure so I don't get any mishap and have no one comment, well, actually, Chaos was created in 2013, but I'm gonna blah, 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 blah. Chaos was created in 2009, formation and Shinsuke Nakamura's leadership. And Shinsuke Nakamura eventually signed and went to WWE, and that was in 2016. And they have it here recorded that no other leader of Chaos has came by. But yeah, that is Chaos. It's not recorded that it has a leader, but probably the acting leader would have to be Kazuchika Okada, who is the biggest name in Japan right now and in the wrestling world, who I will get to as the card goes on. So, without further ado, I've talked enough about setting up. It's about 8 minutes and 42 seconds in, so I'm going to start breaking down the card for you all. So, here we go. So, the first match on the card will be the actual New Japan Rumble. So, what the New Japan Rumble is more so like the, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal for WWE fans, for them to best understand this. So, in the New Japan Rumble, it's mostly for the people with the company who really don't have a match on the card, but that the company still wants to get on. It's on the pre-show, so it should be on around 2:30. The actual Eastern Standard Time it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning here in America. It starts at 5 o'clock in Japan. 3 o'clock here in Florida. Once again, Eastern Standard Time. So people like Yuji Nagata, I'm sure, Satoshi Kojima, Tenzan, I can never say his first name, some of their current gaijin, which means foreigner, will be probably lingering around there. None of them are signed directly to the New Japan contract. They're kind of like freelancers. but they were hanging around for the for the tag team tournament just recently, so they might still be lingering, like Jeff Cobb, Sami Callihan, Chuck Taylor, Chucky T, whatnot, maybe just hanging around there and might be in the match. I'm also going to give predictions of who I believe are going to win, why, and where they might go in this. In the New Japan Rumble, it's anybody's game. Heck, Yoshitatsu and Billy Gunn are a part of the New Japan stable. So, if I have to take a shot in the dark for who I believe will win the New Japan Rumble, I'm going to go with Yuji Nagata. He had a stellar G1 Climax match. It was his final one. Yuji Nagata is actually one of the most prestigious people in New Japan. He's been basically any champion possible inside of the company. He really held it for a really long time. He did a lot of martial arts and really strong, stiff fighting. He's from the really old ages. I believe Mr. Yuji Nagata has to be, let me bring it up. He's old and he can go. He is still very, very in his prime. 49 years old as of April 24th. I believe Yuji Nagata, especially due to all of the importance that they've been showing of him and how he's been showing his craft and all that, I think it's going to be that huge, like, hey, that's kind of his thing. I know you guys are probably like, what is he doing? Well, Yuji Nagata does this. It's weird. He's like, They call him Blue Justice. I think he's like a cop. He's signing off. So yeah, that's Mr. Nagata. I believe he will win the New Japan Rumble. So now the next match on the card is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, which will be with the current champions Roppongi 3K, consisting of Sho and Yo, versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. So first off, I'm going to break down the Young Bucks because I'm pretty sure anyone knows who the Young Bucks are. You pretty sure know who they are, what they do, how they operate, where they're going, what faction they're a part of, but I'll still break it down for anyone that doesn't know because that's rude. This might be new people who aren't into wrestling and maybe watching this and want to watch it. So the Young Bucks are comprised of Matt and Nick Jackson. They are two gentlemen from the United States of America. They are considered gaijin, which once again in Japan means foreigner, for New Japan. They have won the new tag team titles 6 times before, the junior tag team titles, and that is the record for the most reigns that a tag team has ever had. The only person that's ever held the tag team title as much as them is one singular person, being what's his name, Rocky Romero, who has held the title 8 times with separate partners. So then they are part of the faction Bullet Club. They have a stigma about them of super kicks and jumping around and doing flips and all sorts of stuff, but they also are very technical wrestlers. They very much know how to tell a story in the ring, very much know what they're doing. The Young Bucks are excellent wrestlers, and as much as everyone has criticism to say about them all the time, the minute they are in the United States and a part of the WWE, everyone and everybody will be, man, the Young Bucks are amazing, and they're going to jump on the bandwagon and be like that, because I know people who thought AJ Styles sucked, and then when he came to the main roster of the WWE, he was God's gift. People are fickle. Anywho, so, which, to be fair, AJ Styles is God's gift. Anywho, so that is enough about the Young Bucks. They are a very good tag team and performers, and probably the most successful indie wrestlers. They are not with any promotion whatsoever. They are with Ring of Honor, but they mostly just do whatever the heck they want, and they make a very large profit selling their own merch wherever they want and doing matches whenever they want. They are, Young Bucks should not be looked down upon. But as I said, people pretty much know who the Young Bucks are. I'm pretty sure you don't know who Roppongi 3K is. Yeah, like that. That's a 3 and that's a K. I had to work my fingers there. So, Roppongi 3K is comprised of Sho and Yo. So to better give an explanation of this. In New Japan, they have the Young Lions. The Young Lions are New Japan's version of NXT, except there's not an NXT platform for them. The Young Lions hang out on the New Japan shows. Any show that there's going on, a new Young Lion will probably be hanging around. They normally lose. There's nothing flashy about them. A Young Lion is just a trainee. They wear black trunks. They keep short hair. No one has long hair. They all have short hair. They have no knee pads. They only have boots. They have no flash, no color. They can only do very basic moves. Most of them finisher is a Boston Crab. So for anyone that doesn't know what Boston Crab is, the Walls of Jericho. They don't do anything much crazy, and they're just there to learn, develop, get better. And once I believe they have a year of being a Young Lion, which allows them to be in front of the crowd in Japan, hone their craft, make their skills better, kind of form like a smidget of a character. Once their Young Lion tenure is over, New Japan has them signed to a excursion, where they go out to the world and they go to a different promotion, whether it be here in the United States at Ring of Honor, or they go to Mexico at CMLL. They may go to England to wrestle over there, and in any promotions, England, UK, or wherever. It's mostly for them to go to another place to learn another craft specific to them, hone it, make a character there, make themselves better only for a year, and then they come back to Japan, where they are a fully formed, functioning product, ready to go, ready to be reintroduced to the crowd, who now miss them because they do remember these Young Lions. And that is the Young Lion format. And that is what Sho and Yo are. Originally, they were two Young Lions, I believe, in 2014. 2015. They left to America to be a part of the Ring of Honor and other other companies. Sho and Yo did. They were mostly Ring of Honor, as by how I know them, as Ring of Honor as the Tempura Boys. There was really nothing crazy about them. They just existed. They were just doing this thing, and they just kind of existed. Then suddenly, at Kings of Pro Wrestling last year on October 9th, they challenged the team of Ryusuke Taguchi and Ricochet, which were called Funky Future, for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, which they won. They call themselves Roppongi 3K because originally their manager, who is Rocky Romero, was a part of a tag team called Roppongi Vice. Roppongi Vice ended due to him and his partner Beretta, or Trent Beretta, by some people may know him, being, hey, we've reached the end of our road. We've done everything we can. We won these tag team titles plenty of times. Let's just call it quits. Let's be buddies, shake hands. This is a single handshake. It's so lonely. And they left, and Trent went on to be a heavyweight. This only literally just happened like 5-6 months ago, while Rocky really was directionless. So he found the Tempura Boys, repackaged them as the Roppongi 3K, and now they are his team, and he manages them and puts them on forward to battle. They are a pseudo tag team off of Chaos, and due to just their association with Rocky Romero, who is a part of Chaos, and they're very good. They're at first, they just look like a K-pop or a J-pop boy band with one wearing silver, I believe that being Sho, and the other wearing gold, which is Yo. If one has red in their hair, the other one has blue in their hair. They seem very boy bandish, kind of shiny spandexy attire. Pretty boys. They're like, their age is like making weird noises. 28. They're fairly young in the wrestling community. But fans love them, and they are very, very skilled in the ring and very good at storytelling and moving around and all that. There will be a very good foil to the Young Bucks. The reason the match is happening is because Roppongi 3K entered in the New Japan Junior Tag Team Cup, where it was just a one-on-one match. Whichever team won the match moved on forward. Whoever won the cup would be the challengers at the Wrestle Kingdom to Roppongi 3K. But in New Japan fashion, whenever they have a tournament, the champion is also involved in said tournament. Roppongi 3K won the tournament, so they had no challengers. They basically beat all the tag teams that were possible in Japan, in New Japan. But the Young Bucks were not a part of that tournament. So the Young Bucks at the end of the tournament showed up to approach Roppongi 3K, said they didn't beat them. They're the best tag team, so they should automatically get a match. They did. So now it is Roppongi 3K versus the Young Bucks at Wrestle Kingdom. I myself believe that Roppongi 3K will win. As I said, the Young Bucks have won the belt 6 times. This will be their 7th time winning. It would be great for them, obviously, because any more success is always great success. But I believe New Japan wants to push their young lions now a little more, so they're going to probably stick with Roppongi 3K. As I said, they won the belts in Power Struggle, which was only in October, so that was only about 3-4 months ago. And I believe they want to show that, hey, Roppongi 3K is a team to look out for by them beating the Young Bucks. That shows, like, yeah, we are one of the best, and you're going to have to bring out some good stuff to beat us. So my pick to win this opening match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships is Roppongi 3K. Sorry, reverse. I'll do that again. No edit. 3K. I should have acted like I had no idea what I was doing. Anywho, this is their hand signal. This is why I keep doing it. I'm stupid. Anywho, so the next match will be for a gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championship. So, to better disclose what the 6-Man Tag Team Championship is, I'm going to open up a link that better describes it, or when it showed up. Basically, New Japan is riddled with tons of I believe about 50 competitors. In those 50 competitors, there are 5 factions. Out of those 5 factions, I'd say out of 50 competitors, 40 are a part of factions. Maybe let's bring it down to 30. So out of those factions, there are many weight classes. And what happened during Japan at one point, by what I remember reading, was that there was only the junior heavyweight titles, the tag team and the singular one, the IC Intercontinental and IC as an Intercontinental, and the heavyweight title and the heavyweight tag team championships, about 5. So then the other wrestlers are just kind of milling around trying to get belts that they're probably never going to get and whatnot, and they wanted to make the weight classes probably all mingle around and see some new mixed match teams. So the belts were created around December 11th of 2015. And that was announced to be at the Wrestle Kingdom of 2010. So that it's a very new belt, because all of the other belts that are around have been kind of around for 5+ years. Being obviously the IWGP title being one of the oldest ones that they have. Just 1 second, I'm going to turn on the light because the sun's setting and it's dark and I don't like the dark. I want to also make sure you guys can see me. So, there we go. Anywho, so this is a gauntlet match, so it has many, and I hope that's not the face that YouTube decides to keep as my tagline, but it has many competitors in it, so I'm not going to be able to go over each of them and their overlining stories and why this match is happening. But I will be going over it as to who's involved in the match, the teams, and what's going on there. So, the first team that we have is the Bullet Club, comprised of Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. So basically, Gorillas of Destiny with Bad Luck Fale, they are the champions. They only just recently won the titles about 3 weeks ago from the previous champions. There is Chaos, which is comprised of Beretta, or as some people may know him as, Trent Beretta. Tomohiro Ishii, great, phenomenal wrestler. And Toru Yano, which is basically Santino Marella is the best algorithm example I can give of you. He does not wrestle. He really wrestle. He mostly just kind of does jokes and hokey stuff, and definitely tries to low blow people during the matches, and eventually, he sometimes gets caught, sometimes he doesn't. Then there is the team of Michael Elgin and War Machine. War Machine is comprised of Hanson and Raymond Rowe. Basically, if you think of what a Viking looks like, that's what Hanson and Raymond Rowe looks like. Very, very huge guys. Large, massive gentlemen who have huge beards and can beat the crap out of you, but also move really fast. And Michael Elgin, who is like a shorter Viking, but he's like a Gimli is the best way to put it. He's stout but strong and a little short, definitely shorter than Hanson and Rowe. But he will drive you into the ground like no one's business. Then there's also Suzuki-gun, which is a faction I brought up earlier, which in this case is comprised of Taichi, Takashi Iizuka, and Zack Sabre Jr. Everyone hates Taichi. Taichi's whole gimmick is that he just walks to the ring singing and with a girl on his side, very young girl at that, and just kind of berating people, saying how great he is and whatnot. Takashi Iizuka, I'm pretty sure he's the guy who has alcohol with him all the time, and he sometimes spits it in their face. No, never mind. Takashi Iizuka is just a giant, wild, crazy man. Think of he used to there was a wrestler in the WWE that used to spit up green stuff on turnbuckles and eat it. I cannot remember his name, and please feel free to write it in the comments below, or send a tweet at me at Micah Kool-Aid, cheap plug. And then there's Zack Sabre Jr., one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet. He's young, he's great, he's super quick. He just is a great wrestler. He's a part of the Suzuki-gun faction and Suzuki-gun, and And then the final team is Taguchi Japan, comprising of Ryusuke Taguchi, the leader of Taguchi Japan, Juice Robinson, who some people may know him as CJ Parker from the FCW NXT days, the kind of hippie peace guy, and Togi Makabe, who is one of the he is Japanese Bruiser Brody, who has a heart of gold because kids and everyone alike love him. That's the 6-man tag team title match. So I will say that Bullet Club, Tama Tonga, and Tongaloa, and Bad Luck Fale will retain the belt. And it's a gauntlet match, so it'll be elimination. I believe so. I'm going to cut down the reasons why I believe the others will not win. Chaos, as I said, they really have no direction. They're just kind of a bunch of dudes who just hang out together. Tomohiro Ishii is fantastic, and Beretta is still trying to find his place as a singles heavyweight guy. Him winning a 6-man title, it makes kind of no sense right now. And Toru Yano's very much like a joke character. I could see him win it, but not in this amalgam of a team. There's Michael Elgin and War Machine. War Machine has been kind of scheduled to be leaving soon, as well as they they kind of don't get along well with Michael Elgin. Is storyline / I'm pretty sure real. So that's what's going on. So I don't think that's going to help them. Then there is Suzuki-gun, who I will tell you this, if you watch this, expect for Suzuki-gun to attack people outside the ring, and probably the rest of the members of Suzuki-gun to also get involved in the match in some sort of way. It always happens. It's very, very annoying. And they're really not a threat in my eyes. Zack Sabre Jr. is a problem, but I don't see him as a legitimate threat / like going to win this thing. I think he has better things in mind. He might win the IC title somewhere around this year. And then there's Taguchi Japan, who definitely could win this belt. Definitely comprising of Ryusuke Taguchi, Togi Makabe, and Juice Robinson. But I think due to Bullet Club having just, as I said, won it 3 weeks ago, I don't think that they're going to drop it that fast. Yeah, I believe that Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa will retain and keep the titles for this night. And it'll be a very fast-paced match. I say definitely watch Guerrillas of Destiny and definitely War Machine because they are some great tag teams. I'm going to take just a little intermission just for 1 second. Just don't mind me. I'll be right back. As I said, I was going to be right back. I'm still working out the kinks on how the show wants to work. I live in an apartment with my girlfriend. I do not have like an office room where I can just be in there and nothing's going to happen. So right now it's just in the kitchen. You might see some cats walk by. You may even see Cassie come by, who will be a part of the show at some point soon. But right now it's just me hanging out. If you don't like it, I mean, you can give me a thumbs down. Please don't. Please don't. But like, if you really want to, I wouldn't be like furious at you. I'd just be really sad. But let's keep going with things that you like, which is why you're here for wrestling. Next match on the card is Cody Rhodes versus Kota Ibushi. So both of them have very long history, not relating to each other, but I'm going to start with the shorter, longer history, which is Cody. Cody was originally a part of WWE, and his name was Cody Rhodes. He is the grandson of a plumber and the son of Dusty Rhodes, baby, as well as the brother to Goldust. He was in WWE for a tenure as Cody Rhodes. At one point dashing, at one point undashing, at one point mustachio, at one point Stardust. And eventually got fed up and left around, actually, I believe it was last year. I believe last year was it. And he had the year of his life. The man has done everything up and down on the indie scene and has made himself a high commodity and success story of that. You don't need the WWE to be successful. Cody at one point actually was the ROH championship. Only once again, maybe about less than a month ago, he was the champion. And he only just recently lost it to spoilers. I'm going to say spoilers if no one knows. A gentleman named Dalton Castle. Originally, and by how I've noticed with the Wrestle Kingdom format, every Wrestle Kingdom seems to have an American title contended on it. At one point, even the TNA title was contended by Jeff Hardy to Naito, Tetsuya Naito. And that, like, every New Japan show seems to have some United States title contended on its franchise, mostly as a sign of goodwill. Cody lost that title very recently, so it's really changed things up because this was for the Ring of Honor Championship. But either way, the match is still on, and it's going to be great. Cody has went above and beyond in transforming himself and making himself even better than where he was. And let's be frank, he was really, really good. So he's just fantastic now. And the only level that he can get to next is, I guess I'm going to go with AJ Styles, phenomenal. Now then, we have Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi could possibly be the secondary ace of New Japan, but he's a very enigmatic guy. Kota Ibushi has been wrestling for quite a long time. He's probably one of the best aerial wrestlers on the planet. He participated. Most people who do not know who he is may know him from participating in the Cruiserweight Classic of last 2 years ago. Gross. Cruiserweight Classic was 2 years ago. And his work there. But to go further back, Kota Ibushi originally started in a company, I believe, called DDT Pro. And he wrestled there, and he did his things and whatnot. He was a very, very popular tag team with one of the wrestlers on the show as well, named Kenny Omega. And they were very, very popular in Japan. They called themselves Golden Lovers. They did plenty of things, as well as Ibushi does a lot of other stuff. He's wrestled in bathrooms. He's wrestled on rivers. He's wrestled for American promotions such as PWG and Ring of Honor. As you saw in WWE, he wrestled in Evolve at one point. He does everything. Anything. At one point, you can probably find a video of this. He is a crazy but super likable guy. He literally got fireworks and put them to his chest to show that they were real. So they were blowing up on him. Then he pointed them at his opponent and hit them with them. He's a wacky character, but a fantastic wrestler. Gotta be one of the top 10 wrestlers in-ring performers on the planet. Why does this all kind of matter? Well, Kody is a part of Bullet Club. He's technically second in charge, is the best way to put it. Bad Luck Fale definitely calls himself the underboss, but Kody has his own subsidiary kind of Bullet Club team inside of Bullet Club, and they all kind of answer to him. But Cody's basically second in charge and second in command. As Kota Ibushi was best friends with Kenny Omega. At one point, Ibushi was trying for a lot of. He's also won multiple championships in New Japan, mostly being the junior heavyweight tag team title, as well as the junior heavyweight singles title. Eventually, he actually went up to the heavyweight division and started fighting there. He got some injuries, got sidelined, and eventually in 2016 he left. That was also around the time when Kenny Omega was going on the rise, actually having one of the, I believe, the 6-star match with Kazuchika Okada. And Kenny's character is a pseudo kind of thing off of Ibushi as well. He holds very large contempt to Ibushi. He does not like him. They do not like being around each other. It's very awkward and very complicated when they are around. Sometimes Ibushi will try and be friendly towards what's his name? Towards Kenny, but Kenny will not have it. It is a very deep-seated, rooted conflict. And that is why I will believe that Ibushi will win by beating Kody, the second in command of the Bullet Club, and go on to build more notoriety for him to eventually then challenge Kenny sometime by next year, if not next year's Wrestle Kingdom. So yeah, Ibushi will beat Kody. It will be a fantastic match. Watch out for the Kamigoye. I won't tell you what it is, but I will tell you that the name of it, and it's gonna hurt if he hits it, and he will win. So then we will jump over to the final tag team match on the card, which is Killer for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. It will be Killer Elite Squad, comprised of Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer, versus Los Ingobernables Evil Sonata Japón. I changed the name from Los Ingobernables de Japón because, well, when I think of Los Ingobernables de Japón, it's the faction. And these two aren't even a subsidiary tag team that have a name. They're just two separate members of LIJ doing their own separate things right now. So I'm already talking about them, so I may as well continue. Evil is a Grim Reaper. Yep. Evil's character is that he is basically the Grim Reaper, complete with a mask to cover most of his face except his eyes, a robe with a downward hood, a scythe, a literal scythe that you probably can find from Party City. And he has these LED lights on a glove when he comes out that shine out, and the crowd eats it up. Originally, Evil was once again a young lion. Actually, everybody was a young lion at some point. Even Shinsuke Nakamura was. Even Ryusuke Taguchi. If you aren't a gaijin, most times you have been a a young lion. But as I was saying, Evil wasn't young lion. He came back with this evil persona and joined Los Ingobernables de Japón. He is definitely second in command behind Naito, and the crowd loves him. And I enjoy him too. He's a very interesting character. He likes to say everything is evil, and that he's just going to take over. He's just going to pollute and corrupt and take control of everything, and that's basically what evil is. Then there's Sanada. Sanada is a strange character he's not strange in character. He is a complicated person. So originally Sanada tried out to be a young lion years ago, but didn't get approved. He went on to the other secondary promotion inside of Japan, I believe Noah. Let me just confirm that once again so I don't have someone reaching down my throat yelling at me in the comments. He went to All Japan Pro Wrestling. And he honed his craft there. He became a better wrestler. He eventually went over to TNA, was a wrestler over there and whatnot. And then he showed up in New Japan, I want to say in 2015? No, he showed up in New Japan in 2016, so just 2 years ago. And he joined Los Ingobernables de Japón. He has kind of really no character. They call him the Cold Skull. He just wears, like, when he comes out, he wears a skullish mask over just most of his to his nose and has some horns on it. His hair is like literally sticking up, like it goes straight up, like ridiculous, and it doesn't move. Like, it stays just like that. It doesn't fall down. It doesn't like flop to the side or anything. It stays just like this the whole match. He's very crisp. He doesn't say anything, and that's kind of his thing. Like, Evil does most of the promo work, and Sanada kind of just stands there, like, looking cool. They are, as I said, originally they were the six-man, never openweight six-man tag team champions, only, as I said, about 3 weeks ago with another member of LIJ called Bushi. But they lost it to the Bullet Club faction from before. They had also previously won the G1 tournament style, that is the tag team style, and they won that tournament, which is very unexpected to me. And they are challenging the current champions, the Killer Elite Squad, which is Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer. So those names might be ringing a bell in your head, because let's go with Lance Archer first. Lance Archer was originally part of WWE for a good chunk of time. He would always show up and then leave, and then show up and leave again. He's very tall, has plenty of tattoos. I remember him mostly because he has a weird tramp stamp on his back. I'd hope it'd be on his back because there's a tramp stamp. But either way, he has a tramp stamp, and I'm always like, why does such a huge guy have a tramp stamp? Either way, he's now in Japan. He is the epitome of what a gaijin kind of sometimes looked at as, like a mean, dirty individual who doesn't like to play by the rules and likes to just irritate people. His main thing when he comes out is that he drinks water and spits it on people, as well as just throws water on the crowd. The crowd oh no, but they love it. Doesn't make any sense to me, but it's Japan. It's whatever. He's been a part of Suzuki Gun for quite a long time, actually, since I want to say 2012. And then there's Davey Boy Smith Jr., who is the son of Davey Boy Smith, who you might remember to be, and I always say his name wrong. No, he's not this. The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. I always just call him Davey Boy Smith because that's what I used to call him when I was a kid. But I knew a lot of people only just called him the British Bulldog. He is the son of the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. Originally, he was with the WWE as well, a part of the, I believe, not the Hart Foundation, but the Hart team with Tyson Kidd and Natalya around 2010, maybe 2011. He cut ties to WWE around 2011. Did some indie stuff for about a year, and then ended up in Japan at 2012, a part of Suzuki Gun, and created the Killer Elite Squad. They're two giant gaijin. They have to each be 6'8", I believe, and just muscly dude to once again go by the titular look that and antics that a Japanese fan from New Japan probably perceives what a normal gaijin in Japan in their company is probably presented as. Very disrespectful, very mean, very out there, and doesn't care, just wants to beat up and show how much they're better than the others. Mind you, Los Ingobernables is also a heel team who just, their whole name literally means the Ingovernables of Japan. So they are just, they do not listen to whatever rules. They do whatever they want. They really do not care for authority figures. They don't really do to the level of Suzuki-gun, which is just beat up everybody. They mostly just like, hey, don't do that. No, we do whatever we want. That's basically it. I believe I haven't really had a title change yet. So that kind of sounds boring. I would originally go with the Killer Elite Squad because they got the titles at one of the Dominion shows in September, so that gives them about a 5 to 6 month reign. But there's really, oddly enough, not a lot of tag teams, not a lot of heavyweight tag teams in Japan. So they might just give it to Evil and Sonata, not only to give them more notoriety and whatnot, but to also like keep them going. But I'm going to be crazy and keep the title on the Killer Elite Squad. I'm going to keep it on them. I think that will opens the door to actually allow the Young Bucks, who, as I said, they've done everything in the tag team division, in the junior tag team division. I think they're going to go to the main heavyweight tag team division and win those titles. So that's just my prediction. Now we're going to go to everything after this is for the singles championships. We have Minoru. This is for the Never Openweight Championship. Loser has their hair cut with Minoru Suzuki, who is the current champion, versus Hiroki Goto. So let's go with Goto because he's the challenger. Goto is New Japan's kind of like the best thing to describe him as. Their Dolph Ziggler is the best way. Great performer, wonderful wrestler, very strong, very fast for how big he is. He is very interesting in his execution of moves. A lot of them involve him slamming people on his knees. He made a move called the GTO, the Goto GTR, which is the Goto Revolution, where he basically just takes his elbow and his knee and smashes it in between his opponent's head. His music is very. Originally, he was a young lion that went overseas and was actually extremely skinny if you look him up. And then he comes back and he's bulked up and he's a lot more stronger, heavyweight move. Eventually, Shinsuke Nakamura searched him out and chose him to be a part of Chaos, the faction, because he wanted Goto and him to bring back the strong style of wrestling back to New Japan. So Hiroki Goto, when he wrestles that strong style method. He always gets every other thing. He's won plenty of accolades in New Japan. He's been the Never Openweight title champion before. He's won plenty of tournaments. He's won the G1 in 2008. He's won the New Japan Cup like 3 times. I think being the person who's won the most. He's won the World Tag League plenty of times. He's done a lot, but they never ever put the main title on him. He's always just one step away from getting it. And Goto's character to me is more of like a samurai, very like stout, very. I keep using stout as tonight, but he's very refined, very devout, very much confident in his capabilities, but also very confident in the way that he conducts himself, and very much he likes who he is and how he wants to do, and very believes that is the way to be. Even in the way that he moves around the ring, and the way that he also dresses seems like a samurai, where he has these kind of like flowing shorts, and sometimes he wears a jacket with it, like a kind of like a biker looking jacket, but like from what I've seen from like kind of what people see as the cool modern day samurai method, as well as he also has these flowing locks. And in Japanese culture where I don't remember what it's called, where they have the top of their hair, and if you cut it off, it's kind of a sign of that you are you're starting over as you're like a new person, a new man and whatnot. You've also denounced your samurai. That's how I see this hair versus hair match for him, which is the reason why Minoru Suzuki pushed him to put something on the line. The only thing Goto could think of was his hair, because that's probably the most important last thing to him. And as well as it's not just a image to him, it's a symbol of who Goto is. Then there is Minoru Suzuki, who is the current never openweight champion. He is terrifying. Minoru Suzuki is 49 years old. Minoru Suzuki is a trained martial artist. He looks like what welcomes you to hell, and then you're like, I'm happy that I'm away from him, and then you walk into hell, and he's still right there, and you're like, God, I just got away from you. You're like, nah, son, I followed you. He is terrifying. He has been wrestling since 1988. He created his own promotion called Pancrest, where it was a mix of pro wrestling like moves mixed with real martial arts / MMA. He's one of the actual first people to create MMA, to be a part of MMA. He has a total of 49 wins, with 29 wins. Total of 49 matches, 29 of them being wins, and having 20 losses. He is a serious threat and a big problem. He stole actually the faction of Suzuki-gun from another person, a part of New Japan called Kojima, who made it Kojima-gun. He just basically beat the crap out of Kojima, and just everyone a part of Kojima went to Suzuki-gun because they just were scared of him. The best way I can describe him is he literally is a MMA Yakuza member, is the best way I can think of the guy. So yeah, that's Minoru Suzuki. He's the current never openweight champion. He has Suzuki-gun, which most, as I said earlier, they always interfere. They always show up. There's always a brawl that happens outside. But when Suzuki is going, he will put on a 5-star match. He will give you one of the best matches that you have seen, and he will kill it. Do not sleep on Minoru Suzuki. But I believe he will be sleeping at the end of this match, because he's going to eat a GTR, and Hiroki Goto will move on to hold the never openweight championship for the 3rd time. Now we have a fatal 4-way match, which is very rare for the for New Japan. It does not happen often. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, it is comprised of the current champion Marty Scurll versus Hiromu Takahashi versus Kushida versus Will Ospreay. I'm going to give quick descriptions of each person. Let's go for the challengers, starting with Kushida. Kushida is a very large fan of Back to the Future and extremely good wrestling. Once again, also an accomplished martial artist. He didn't wrestle. He has participated in martial arts competitions and has gone undefeated. He has 6 wins, 2 draws. He knows legitimate martial arts and has incorporated it into his combat and into his in-ring style, and has honed it to be a part of who he is and how he operates. He is one of the most well-rounded, well-defined wrestlers in the world, and one of the most prestigious IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions that New Japan has, as well as one of the most prestigious wrestlers who has won stuff all across the world, man. I'm talking the ROH television title. He's won the Pro Wrestling World Cup. He's had a 5-star match with Will Ospreay. He's won a mixed martial arts tournament. The guy is a serious competitor. And do not sleep on him. He is a pseudo member of Taguchi Japan. Then there is Will Ospreay, the most recent IWGP champion holder before Marty Scurll. Will Ospreay is a very young gentleman who is very great at what he does. He is called the Aerial Assassin because he does a lot of high-flying moves. He jumps off a lot of stuff, and he's so fast and so crisp about it. He's only 24 years old. He has done so much in the wrestling community. Extremely talented, extremely well-rounded. People have heard of him. He's just a very, very great wrestler, and he he's young. He's only at 24 years old. He has a plethora, a mountain to climb of wrestling to achieve. He originally lost the title about a month and a half ago to Marty Scurll. He's a great competitor inside of this too. Then there is Hiromu Takahashi. Hiromu Takahashi is called the Ticking Time Bomb. Hiromu Takahashi walks with a stuffed toy cat named Daryl, who he talks to and that talks back to him, and that is also immortal because at one point he's been ripped apart and been put back together. He sings songs randomly. He loses his crap, but he's also, once again, and I keep saying this about the junior heavyweights, fantastic. He is fantastic. Previously a young lion who went on the excursion, came back, created the Ticking Time Bomb character, and Kushida, who is one of, as I said, probably the top junior heavyweight of New Japan, beat him for the title on his opening night. Hiromu is a serious threat and a great wrestler and character. One of probably the most popular in Japan right now. He is everything that I want Dean Ambrose to be in character because he talks to himself. He loses his mind in the ring. Like, he'll be acting very normal, and then eventually he'll just snap and just go off the rails and do things that a normal person wouldn't do to another normal person, as well as to himself. Like, he literally puts his body at harm's risk in his combat, thus getting the moniker of Ticking Time Bomb. If anything, I'd suggest that you go check out any match that he had against Kushida. But yeah, great guy. And then there's a champion, Marty Scurll. Or Scurll. Sorry, I said it wrong. Marty Scurll. Marty Scurll is a member of the Bullet Club as well. He is the current champion. He's only had it for, as I said, about a month and a half. He is the villain. He won it from Will Ospreay, which is one of his biggest rivals. He is the best friend of Zack Sabre Jr. He is a very, very charismatic man, full of whoop whoop, blah, 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 and just a villain. It's like if you took the DC villain for Batman, the Penguin, and then also like put in, let me think of someone who is also just super charismatic, but also like will kill you. I'd have to say like a Magneto. He's very able to preach his word and make people kind of like, you know what, he's not wrong. I should actually probably side with him. Marty is not only just a really good talker, a very great wrestler. He uses a lot of submission-based moves to try and win his matches, and he is the current champion. I will make it that Hiromu Takahashi will win this belt because it's been a kind of thing that he keeps trying to challenge for it, and that people keep stopping him. And he'll be like, I'm gonna be the next challenger, and then someone right as he's about to say challenger like beats him up, stops him or pushes him or whatever. He never ever got the opportunity. Now he finally got an opportunity for it after dropping it, I want to say in February. So yeah, I think this is Hiromu's time. So Hiromu will be the next IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Now we have Hiroshi Tanahashi versus the champion of the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, versus Jay White. So a little bit about Jay White. I don't really know much. He's from Australia. He was a young lion in 2015. He went on an excursion to go to a Ring of Honor in 2016. He was a young lion. He was mostly Ring of Honor in 2016. He came back late 2015, 2016. He came back late 2016 this year and just immediately attacked Hiroshi Tanahashi, which I can go on and on about, and I will give a little more background about him in a minute. Jay White calls himself Switchblade now. He wears all black. He's kind of like a edgy guy. Yeah, he's kind of just there. This is his return match for New Japan, so we'll see how that goes. Sometimes in New Japan, they like to put the belt around the character because it makes the crowd very like, oh man, look at him.